in Santa Cruz, it's basically like any other city. It's a really, really big city. But our mission was only half of the city. And in that half, it was the most run-down part of the city. And so there was, like, more concrete homes, dirt floors. They lived out in basically the sticks of the city, I should say. And we lived in the actual city. And so we would have to walk out to the sticks and go to those homes, and they were a lot more on top of each other. So it was kind of like, they call it like a concrete jungle type thing. And it was hot all the time, so there wasn't no need for windows or a lot of shelter, so it was very open when you went into a home. So there wasn't windows like ours, like glass and stuff. And so when it would rain, the water would come in and they'd basically shovel it out with like buckets and stuff like that. And then it would rain more in Santa Cruz, and it was always windy. And I don't know why it was, but it was windy all the time, and your skirts would fly up, and we'd have to do that. But most people worked in government things or sold things on the street. And like most people did, they would make something and then sell it, food-wise or clothing-wise, shoes, some members did. And then every house had a gate to it, so you'd have to knock on the gate before you were able to enter the actual home. And that was always hard tracking and stuff, because some people didn't hear you or they ignored you when they heard you, and it wasn't easy to see somebody coming up and stuff. And then on P days, we would mostly play soccer, because there's not a ton to do in the city, or things we were allowed to do in the city. Or we would go find a new restaurant to try or something, because there was a lot of different restaurants that you could try, and members would invite you over and try new dishes, and we would like go learn how to make a dish or with the elders or something, or we would teach them an American dish. It was always fun to do on P Day. And then we would email our families in internet cafes. So you would go to a store or something, and they would have cafes with just computers everywhere. And you would pay to use the computer, and then email for an hour and call good. And then their stores there aren't like our grocery stores. It's basically like little shops. And then you would go to the shop, and they would cut your meat in front of you, and they'd have chickens right there laying eggs and just give the eggs to you. Or they would have cereal all up and down their walls. It was always cram-packed as well. So in the street, you would always bump into somebody because the streets were so busy. The transportation mostly was buses. And the buses were always fun because you would just hop on. They wouldn't really like stop completely. You'd just have to grab on and hop in. Then you would just jump off. And it was always cram-packed, so most of the time you were just hanging on a rod on the outside and stuff. So that was always fun.